I'm Megha from Couple of Expats, and today we are discussing culture shocks in Finland. Turku Business Region has invited us to make a video series about life in Finland, and culture shocks is the first of the four-part series. So let's dive right in! A culture shock is something that one faces when introduced to a new culture. In our case, we faced this when we moved to Finland from our home countries. It usually takes 1 to 2 years to get used to these cultural differences, but it is very much possible to also like the cultural attributes of your new home country. Culture shock number 1, the love for personal space. Now, this is something that is bound to catch your eye once landing in Finland because with a sparse population of only 5 million people, Finns really respect their own personal space as well as others, and it is very easy to notice this. If you're not yet convinced, here are a few examples of how people in Finland love personal space. For a lot of people, their dream house is located in the middle of a forest, where the closest neighbor is at least a few hundred meters away. At a bus stop in Finland, you'll notice 3 to 4 people standing approximately 5 meters away from each other, waiting for the same bus. Next up is social conduct. Now, when you're coming from a very different culture, it's very easy to have misunderstandings. As a couple about to finish half a decade in this beautiful country, our advice is to be patient and try to understand the culture in Finland. That's because foreigners often find Finns' behavior to be rude or impolite just because there's a difference in what is considered normal. For example, in many cultures, it's perfectly normal to smile or nod at a stranger, while the same behavior will likely draw some odd looks in Finland. Here, strangers are not acknowledged in any way, to the extent of avoiding eye contact, which admittedly feels a bit bizarre. You may also find yourself in a circumstance where an acquaintance does not acknowledge you if you don't know each other very well. While over time, you may become accustomed to and even adapt to some of these practices, but if you feel surprised towards the beginning, know that you are not alone in this. The third one on the list, although a little bit awkward, is sauna and nudity. Sauna is a very integral part of life in Finland, and it is so much more than just a spa experience. It is a place for mental and physical unwinding, to relax, and even for social interaction. Saunas are available in various places from sports facilities to apartments, and it's common for Finns to visit the sauna at least once a week. But what can be shocking for an expat is the nudity aspect of the sauna culture. People usually don't wear any clothes in the sauna, and while there are gender-segregated saunas, you may still be uncomfortable with the idea of being naked around strangers. And while you may see a plethora of jokes about Finns being socially awkward, remember that these are the same people who have normalized socializing while being naked. Next up is Finland's climate. Finland has a very unique climate, and it can be challenging for expats to adjust to. The summer days are very long with 10 to 12 hours of daylight, but the winter days are completely different with only 6 to 7 hours of daylight and low light levels throughout the winter months. The winter season can be particularly harsh, with snow and cold temperatures that may come as a surprise to those who are not accustomed to it. It's not uncommon to experience sleeping problems, fatigue, and mood swings due to the lack of sunlight. However, with proper preparation, it's possible to enjoy the beauty of winter, such as with winter sports and other activities. Finns embrace the winter season by participating in winter sports such as ice skating, skiing, and ice fishing. Therefore, it's essential to try to approach the winter season with an open mind and a willingness to embrace the cultural significance of it. Lastly and importantly, communication. Communication is key, right? In that case, you may also agree that it's very important to take each other's perspective into account while communicating. It's important to note that Finns are not the biggest fan of small talk, and it doesn't come as such a big shocker that the people who do not like to acknowledge strangers or acquaintances are not the biggest fan of small chit-chat either. So if you do ask a Finn a question as simple as, "How are you?" don't expect a short, courteous answer and be prepared for a potentially lengthy conversation. While this may not come naturally for some expats, the key to successful communication in Finland is to be direct, honest, and concise. Another interesting aspect of communication in Finland is the use of silence. In Finland, silence is valued over saying something that's totally irrelevant or talking simply for the sake of it. While many cultures find silence to be uncomfortable, a minute or two of quiet during socializing is perfectly acceptable in Finnish culture. Additionally, because the Finnish language is so central to the country's identity, keep in mind that Finns may be shy to communicate in English. And there you have it, the 5 culture shocks we face as expats in Finland. Overall, moving to a new country can be very intimidating, but it also gives you the chance to learn about a new culture and adapt to it. And who knows, with time you may even find yourself liking these cultural attributes of your new country. We hope this video has given you some insight about the culture shocks you may face being an expat in Finland. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and see you next time.